Nope. Mr. Pop. Eat.
Is this thing on?
Yes. Look, do you see that red light? That means it's on. Come on. You act like this is your first time picking up a mic.
All right. This is Agent Anarchy, and welcome to the Waves. This is 000 The Static, on the road, and for once, not on the run.
Well, we are, but not from Drax. We're gunning it from the forces of Destroya herself. This is Sunshine Soldier, and I gotta admit, my work's not always up to code perfect. Shadow and I were trying to get Coyote Crew HQ set up with some fresh running well water, but the big lady in the sky wasn't having it. Something about the pressure got all topsy-turvy, and we ended up flooding the whole place. It wasn't my brightest moment.
That's definitely one way to put it. But before we get more into that, we've got a sour sweet treat of news for you, Joys. Recently, BLI was able to get to our broadcast and block the music we were using to take the whole broadcast down. So we've begun reaching out to some local bands in the zones and even listeners of the broadcast. Thanks to some groovy kids coming through, all broadcasts on all platforms from now on will have rockin' and rollin' beats. Guaranteed.
And we've always got some hot tracks kicking at Coyote Crew HQ, even if we're a little waterlogged. Speaking of, Aiden looks like he's trying to slip a cassette into the player, so I'll let him spin our next track. This is the only song out from this band so far, and you better bet it's one we all need to hear to get our attention and get us excited for what they've got brewing. This is Chicago by First and Forever.
I've been counting cigarettes, I've been counting down the seconds since you walked out that goddamn door. You better soul haunts my each and every footstep. I can't wait to let you go. She's just as pretty as you think.
That's the sound of a band the Fab Four themselves will be proud of. Anyway, back to our little, situation.
Little situation? We were waist deep in water. We were barely able to save the transmitter in time. Luckily, our little killjoy in training was smart enough to grab it before it went under.
Aiden's a smart kid.
You're telling me. I've never seen a kid pick up ray shooting so fast. No kid besides yours truly, of course.
Anarchy, your ego will be the death of all of us. But despite the water, we're not letting this broadcast sink. During the last musical madness, we hopped into our Thunderbird and we got Dreamcatcher grenades steering us towards his old hotel hideout in Zone 3. We're gonna lie low there for a minute while our base dries out. Or, as we've decided to call it, it's gonna be the first Coyote Crew family vacation.
I mean, we've got a new addition. We should try and at least make it a little fun for Aiden. But that doesn't mean we won't be getting you all the news you need to know. So let's get into some news from the zones. If you heard our last zone news segment, you might remember us shouting out a crazy cat preacher man giving his sermons in Action Cat Alley. We're still a little shy on the news with this one, but we have heard of him appearing a few more times in Action Cat Alley and once or twice in Parachute Canyons. He's been seen with wild crowds of zone runners shaking and quaking like they're at a Mad Gear and the Missile Kid concert. We're still not sure what's going on with that crew, but caution is advised. We've also got another line on some learning you can do in the zones. One of the OG Killjoys, going back to almost the Fab Four times, named Mama B, has set up a library outside the back of her van, and she's taken it all across the zones. It's got books, magazines, comics, and even a few music tracks, if you're lucky. She rolled on by the Coyote Crew HQ before we got flooded, and Sunshine just about took a trip down Route Guano with excitement.
Hey, I like books, okay? And I had to get some for Aiden. There's still a lot for him to learn. And there's always more to learn for everyone out in the zones. So if you see Mama B cruising by, flag her down and get some reading material. She also takes anything literary you got to offer. I picked up a poem from her that's just been singing to me since I first read it, so I wanted to share it with you listeners. It's called Scram by a zone rat called Glitter Bomb. Eating up miles of tarmac, music pumping on the radio, through my veins. The sun is my only witness. This bike is held together with my hopes, dreams, madness. Perhaps I'm too big for this body and it leaks into the sand. Bruises on my knuckles, count them all, add another. Badges of honor. Dust in my hair, my clothes. From dust to dust, no thanks. Going out in a blaze of glory. That's if death can keep up.
Wow. Your books and poetry can be some weird things, but I like them. I also like hearing those fresh tunes, so I'm gonna spin you our next track. It's by some zone locals called Dudo Perez, singing Rogue.
Oh, she got it on me to make me run things over in my head. I wish you meant I'll wait to see what you got, 'cause I'm so impressed. When you got it, so I say so. Completing a compilation made of people standing around and you're so confused at ya. Oh yeah. This man's got no style, he's got no cool, he's got good manners. Reads at lunch, he's by himself, but everyone my mind's made up. No way, no can't afford to take this social blow. It's all right. Oh, you should've done something, man. You should've done something, man. Hey man, now what is your name? You make them all toss and turn when they see. She never ceased to amaze.
hope you Joys liked that musical masterpiece, because now we're turning to the White Dome for some city news. We caught a tasty tidbit whipping through the winds about some rebels in the city fighting BLI in my kind of style. Last week, some bat guano crazy brave punks managed to blow up a few of the upper levels of a BLI storage facility. The whole night was full of the snack, crackle, and pop of the fireworks the dusters used to send the place sky high. No word yet on who pulled off this job, but the building was used to store and distribute BLI medication. So if you're in the city catching these waves, that means a lot less drugs getting pumped into the masses, and it's also the perfect time to run along out to the zones in the mass confusion. Trust me, it's worth it.
There's also been some more confusion among the Scarecrow units in Bat City. We got an ear on the ground in the high towers, and they're spinning us some tales that the unit created specially to hunt down Juvie Hall punks isn't making much progress. Yes, sirree, those mad dogs running the underground concert scene got their cards so close to the vest, not one of them has been busted since the basement raid a few weeks ago. Word on the waves is that it's driving course mad up a wall like the Fab Four. We're back kicking up some dust. It's always a good one when the Killjoys pull out on top. Speaking of coming out on top, if you remember our last report on the Whipkick gang and their oil refinery, they weren't sitting too hot with having their turf taken and all. But don't sweat, Zone Rats. The Pixelated Breakers crew and a few other strays came in clutch and got them back to their home base. Details are still a little fuzzy, but what we got for sure is that there was a shootout going down between the two sides when some Dracs showed up to catch their part in the mess. The punks who had stolen the refinery turned tail and took off at the first sign of the Dracs' white motorbikes, but the Whips and Pixelated Breakers stood their ground and continued the shootout with the Dracs. They lost some good Killjoys in the process, but in the end, the Dracs were seen fleeing the scene. So if you're in need of a couple gallons of the zone's best gasoline, the Whip Kicks are back in business.
Sunshine?
Yeah, Anarchy?
I was trying to spin us our next track, but it seems Death Harmonic and Triplicate are trying to get through, but something's blocking the signal, I think.
Try rewriting them through the circuit board over there.
No dice. Wait, I got a message through.
What does it say?
SOS. Shit. Alright, listeners, it looks like we're gonna have to drop a quick farewell here so we can try and make heads of tails of this.
We're pulling up to Dreamcatcher's hotel right now. Bring the transistor inside. We can figure it out in there.
Destroya, help us. This is Agent Anarchy signing off.
And this is Sunshine Soldier. We'll see you next time on the Waves, Killjoys. Good luck, and keep running.